Friends, welcome to this video lecture on loading diagram from a given shear force diagram which we study in shear force and bending moment diagram in mechanics of materials. Now before discussing this, we have to discuss the relation between the rate of loading, the value of the shear force and the bending moment. Now we should know that the rate of loading means the load should be equal to the derivative of the shear force with respect to the distance x. That is, we can say that the rate of loading is nothing but equal to the rate of change of shear force with respect to the length. And the relation between shear force and bending moment is shear force is equal to derivative of bending moment with respect to distance x. So we can say that shear force is nothing but equal to rate of change of bending moment with respect to length. Now before going to draw any loading diagram from a given shear force diagram, let us overview the previous part of this unit, that if we have different types of loading, then what should be the variation of shear force and what should be the variation of bending moment. So if we have loading between 2 points as a point loads, then the respective variation of shear force is a parallel line, or we can say the rectangular blocks, or we can say that shear force remains constant between those 2 points. And in the respective bending moment diagram, we obtain that variation of bending moment is inclined line. So we can say that bending moment varies linearly when we have point loads on those 2 points. Now next, when we have uniformly distributed loads between those 2 points, then the respective variation of shear force is inclined line, means we say that the shear force varies linearly when we have uniformly distributed loads acting on the span between those 2 points, and at the same time the variation of bending moment is a parabolic. And finally, when we have uniformly varying load, the respective variation of shear force is parabolic and the variation of bending moment is a cubic curve. Now before going for that discussion, we'll discuss some important key points, that if you observe now this shear force diagram for a given loading diagram, at any section on a beam when there is a point load, two values of shear force exist. One will be just left of the section and second will be the just right of the section. So if we observe here at a point C, we have a point load of 2 kilonewton. Here we can obtain there are two values of the shear force in the respective shear force diagram. At the same time, if you observe this 4 kilonewton load here at a point D, we can see here there are two values of the shear force. One value will be just left of that section and second will be just right of that section. Now at supports, value of the shear force is always equal to the magnitude of the support reaction. Means if you observe here at support A, the value of the reaction 2.8 kilonewton is nothing but the here value of the shear force at A. Similarly at B, if we see the respective reaction, it is 3.2 kilonewton. Hence here shear force at B is 3.2 kilonewton. Now next key point is that at intermediate point on a beam where shear force diagram changes its sign, maximum bending moment occurs at that point. Now here if we observe the shear force diagram for a given loading diagram, we can see here at a point A, at a point E and at a point B, the shear force diagram changes its sign either from negative to positive or from positive to negative. In the respective bending moment diagram, if we find for that particular span, the value of the bending moment is maximum. So here in this span, here we have negative bending moment, that is minus 10.12. Here we have this 9.315, that is again positive bending moment, and here again it is minus 3.375. Now out of these three spans again, then afterwards we can decide which one is the maximum bending moment. But for that particular span, we can find that where there is a change in the shear force diagram from negative to positive or from positive to negative, the respective bending moment diagram is always maximum. The next key point is that bending moment at simply supported ends is always 0. Now if we observe this simply supported beam at A and at B, there is a simple support. So at both these simply supported ends, if we observe the respective bending moment values at a point A and at a point B, both the values are 0. The next key point, at any section on a beam when there is external applied couple, two values of the bending moments exist. One value will be just left of that section and second will be just right of that section. So if we observe at a point D here, we have this applied couple of 2 kilonewton per meter. Here in the respective bending moment diagram, we can find that there are two values of bending moment. The sum of these two values will be nothing but this applied couple. Now let us see one example based on this. The example is that draw loading diagram from a given shear force diagram for a beam which rests on two supports, one being at left hand end and all the forces are in kilonewton. So if we see this given diagram here, all the forces or values of the shear forces are given which are in kilonewton, all the distances are given, and one more thing is given that the given beam is simply supported at end A. Now let us see the solution, how we can draw the loading diagram from a given shear force diagram. Now first of all, it is given that at left hand beam is supported, hence there must be a reaction at A. So at A, it is given that it is supported at A, means what? At a point A, the respective value of the shear force is 10 kilonewton and it is positive in nature. So if you consider a reaction at A, you can easily find the reaction at A will be nothing but equal to shear force at A and will be equal to 10 kilonewton in this case. At the same time, if you see the variation of the shear force, it decreases from A to B and it decreases from 10 to 5.5. So we must know that when there is a variation of the shear force diagram, which is a linear variation, in that case between A and B there must be an UDL. So to calculate this UDL, simply we have to take the slope of this line. So when we take the slope of this line, here it is 10 minus 5.5 divided by the span, that is 6, will get the intensity of uniformly distributed load, that is equal to 0.75 kilonewton per meter. So we can say here that at A there is a vertical reaction that is equal to 10 kilonewton, and at the same time from A to B, here we have uniformly distributed load acting in downward direction, that is equal to 0.75 kilonewton per meter. Now let us move to the next part, that is from B to C. Now if you observe here at a point B, now here there are two values of the shear force once again. So one value is there which is 5.5 kilonewton, which is the shear force at a point B considering the left hand side of the section, and the second value is 1.5, which is the shear force at a point B considering the right hand side of the section. So if I consider the shear force at a point B considering the right hand side of the section, and if I consider there is a force at a point B. Now how we can understand there is a force at a point B? Because at a point B there are two values of the shear force, one is 5.5 and second is 1.5. So it indicates that there must be a point load at a point B. So if I assume here there is a point load at a point B which is FB. So here if I assume it is in vertically downward direction. So when I consider a section considering the right hand side of the section of point B, and if I take the algebraic sum of all the forces on left hand side of the section, I can find here which is equal to the given shear force, that is equal to minus 1.5 kilonewton, and then finally we obtain that FB is equal to 7 kilonewton. Here we are getting plus sign, it indicates that assumption for FB is correct. Hence at a point B there will be a force which is vertically in downward direction. So at a B we can say here FB is equal to 7 kilonewton acting in downward direction. Now again if you see from point B to C, again there is a variation of the shear force from minus 1.5 to minus 9 kilonewton. So here Again, we can say that between B to C, there is uniformly distributed load, which is acting in vertically downward direction. So we can easily find the intensity of this uniformly distributed load by taking the slope of this line. And here we have a span of 10 meter. So we can easily find out the intensity of uniformly distributed load, which is equal to 0.75 kilonewton per meter acting in downward direction. So we can show here the respective uniformly distributed load acting in vertically downward direction. Now finally, when we reach to point C, now again at a point C there are two values of the shear forces. So at C again there must be a point load. So initially if we assume that there is a vertically downward load, we can say it as FC. Now to find this magnitude of FC, we can consider the value of the shear force at a point C, which is equal to minus 9 kilonewton. Now when you equate this value of the shear force at a point C, considering the left hand side of the section, and if you consider whole the left hand side part of the section, we can find that the value of the shear force at a point C, value of the point load at a point C is minus 12 kilonewton, as minus sign indicates that the assumption for FC is wrong. Hence there must be vertically upward force. So here in this case you can say that this vertically upward force is nothing but the reaction at a point C, which is acting in vertically upward direction, that is equal to 12 kilonewton. And finally here, without any calculation, we can just say that at a point D there is a positive shear force of 3 kilonewton. Hence at a point D there must be vertically downward force of magnitude 3 kilonewton. So in this way we can find out all the forces acting on this given beam, and at the same time to check all these values we have to use the condition of equilibrium. When we take sum of all the forces in vertical direction, we should get that summation f of y must be equal to 0 in this case. At the same time we need to check the condition of equilibrium by taking summation of movement about any point must be equal to 0. If both the condition get satisfied, then our final answer for the given loading diagram is correct. And once we obtain the loading diagram, by using this loading diagram we can also draw the respective bending moment diagram for a given beam. Thank you.